Hello everybody, Darkest Levity here. We recently posted a video showcasing the inventory system that we're building in our prototype for the Untitled survival game that we're working on. And I had a couple questions come in around how the pickup system works. And so I wanted to demonstrate that and kind of dig into how we implemented that in this video. So I've turned our pickup test, and you can kind of see that the capsule trace always goes from where the character is located out to where the mouse cursor is. And the cursor can be controlled by moving the cursor around with your mouse, or you can use a controller and use the right thumbstick to kind of point in the direction that you want to move the cursor in. This is used for a couple things in the game. It's used to, if you want to lock on to a direction and move around, you can kind of strafe and move in the direction of the cursor by holding the left trigger on the gamepad or the right mouse button. It's also used to indicate the direction of your focus so that you can select which item you want to pick up. The goal would be to be able to be very accurate as a player in selecting what you want to focus on picking up. So if you're standing between two objects, you can really indicate which one you want to pick up. Or if there are two objects stacked, we can make it so that you can only pick up the one that's closest to the character. So to do this, let me pull up the character and kind of show you how this all works. You can see that the camera is on a spring arm that's located way above the character and offset by about -10 degrees in the Y. The reason that that's important is because normally on a capsule trace, if you just put it at the ground under the mouse and do a normal capsule trace and go straight up the Z-axis from where the mouse is, from the camera's perspective, that's not going to be directly between the camera and the mouse cursor. It's going to be offset a little bit. And that could result in accidentally selecting things that are farther away from the mouse than you intended. So to fix that, we change our capsule trace logic a little bit. We're using a plugin for our inventory system called the Inventory System X, which I'll link in the description here. And this player interaction controller is one of the components that comes with Inventory System X. And inside that controller, we have a function called Get Closest Actor, which is intended to pick the closest actor that's relevant to the player character. We've changed this logic significantly because Inventory System X was designed for a first-person game or a third-person over-the-shoulder game, and not necessarily a top-down game. It's designed to trace out from the camera's location to some distance in front of the camera. We don't want to do that. We want to trace from the player character to the location under the mouse cursor. So we've changed the logic a bit. And the key change here is that we're using this trace for our detection trace. We're using a capsule trace for objects with rotation. With objects means that we're filtering our trace down to just the things that are relevant to what we're trying to locate. In this case, we've created a new object type called interactive in our game project settings, and we're only tracing for those objects. In addition to that, we're using with rotation, which doesn't come out of the box with Unreal Engine. Instead, we're using that function from a plugin called Capsule Trace Rotation, which is a really simple and excellent plugin that allows you to rotate your capsule trace orientation in case your character is not, standing up vertically all the time, which you could see like in a character that might fly or might leap or do a somersault or something like that. It's also useful for our case where we're trying to get the capsule to point directly at the camera. So in here, you'll see that our capsule trace is going to start from the player capsule world location. Then to determine the endpoint of the trace, we are getting the hit result under the cursor by channel, visibility channel, getting that location, and then getting the location of the player camera and doing a fine look at rotation between those two so that we know the look at rotation between the hit point and the player camera. We're then going to take that rotation and combine it with a 90-degree on the y-axis rotation so that the capsule's top is pointing directly at the camera rather than the side of the capsule. And then we're going to move that location towards the camera by the distance of the capsule half height plus the radius of the trace capsule. That allows us to make sure that the capsule is just slightly above the location that was under the mouse that was hit. This then allows us to basically trace out from the character location to the position under the mouse with the capsule oriented towards the camera to result in what you saw in our gameplay. So that no matter where the mouse cursor is on the screen, the capsule trace around it is oriented directly at the camera, so that looks like a perfect circular radius around the mouse pointer. I hope this helps someone out who has a need to use a trace that's oriented at the camera. If not, then at least it demonstrates some of the thought and work we're putting into building our Untitled Survivor game. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Nope Jelly.